Hi guys, it's Sai. Welcome back to my channel. I used to think that romanticizing uni life just meant like having a perfect routine, going to adorable cafes, and kind of having my life together, but all the time. And if I'm being honest, I feel like that only works if you don't fall behind on things, if you don't fall behind on the things that stress you out. So, today I thought we could talk about how I go about making uni feel less stressed, less overwhelming, and more aesthetic without pretending like everything is perfect at all times. Today we're going to talk about 3 different ways I choose to romanticize my uni life and the ways that I go about doing it, what I feel like works for me, and what might work for you. Let's get started. I feel like there was a point where I was doing all the like cutesy girly things, right? Like journaling, playlists, coffee, all that stuff. But I had so many deadlines like just hanging over my head. I felt fake. Like I felt like I was pretending to be this cutesy, girly, preppy, just carefree girl. But I was crying myself to sleep because I was so stressed out about all the things that I needed to get done. I felt like I wasn't actually enjoying the cute moments in life because I was kind of like battling both, trying to pretend to be cute but also not being able to fully immerse myself into it because I was so stressed out. So I decided to start changing the way I approach my days, and I personally feel like this is what has helped me become more balanced as a person. The first thing I start off with is organizing my to-do list by doing my most exciting thing first and my second most exciting thing last, if that makes sense. So we're kind of making a sandwich of like fun, and everything else in the middle. And the reason for that is I am motivated to get out of bed and get to my desk because I feel excited to start whatever the first task is. And I also feel excited to move through all my tasks so I can get to the second most exciting task. I feel like this just allows me to kind of balance my fun work, my not so fun work, and the work that I'm good at and I enjoy to the work that I'm not so good at and I don't really enjoy. For example, I wake up at 6 a.m. usually most days, right? So 5 out of 7 days in the week, usually I'm waking up at 6 a.m. If I wake up at 6 a.m. and I was to do the most tiring thing first, I would never want to get out of bed. But what I do is when I wake up at 6 a.m, the first thing that I will do when I sit at my desk is like content planning or something, or it'll be like planning a new video idea, it will be like social media admin, and those are all things that I find truly enjoyable. And for that reason, when I sit at my desk, I'm like, oh, this is such a fun and easy task. I could get this done so quickly, and then I'm already in the mood to get work done. Not only that, I get out of bed thinking, oh, I can't wait to check that new video idea that I had last night. And that just helps me move through my tasks so much more effectively, efficiently. The second thing that I do is I stop waiting for motivation to do something. I try and just make every single thing that I do cute or aesthetic in every way. So I was kind of explaining this to my sister yesterday actually. Every time you have a con in life, something that feels like a con, something that feels difficult, something that feels disadvantageous, something that feels like there is something that prevents you from wanting to do it. This could be literally as small as waking up in the morning. It could be as big as working out every day. Anything that makes you feel like, I really don't want to do that, you have to balance it with a pro. Now, by a pro, I don't necessarily mean like giving yourself a chocolate bar, because although I do believe in positive reinforcement, I feel like that can sometimes be ineffective for some people. For example, for me, chocolate bars don't work because I will have a chocolate bar before, during, and after the work. It has no effect on me. But what I do find with different types of positive reinforcement is kind of balancing out certain tasks by making them feel like the gain that you're getting from them is so much more fun and desirable and wantable, I don't know if that's a word, than the effort that you're putting into it. An example that I can think of this is that I restrict myself to 1 coffee a day. If I have a coffee once a day, I won't have another one. That being said, I really do love my iced coffees. I love an iced coffee. So my pro is that I love iced coffees, but my con is that I have to wake up at 6 a.m. or I have to study really late into the night. If I'm ever doing something that's a con, I will associate my pro with that con. Let's say tomorrow I have an assignment and it is due at midnight and I just know I'm going to be working really late into the night. I will save my iced coffee so that I can have it while I'm doing something that I dislike doing. That way I take the con, which is working late into the night, I take the pro, which is my iced coffee, and I pair them together, and they kind of balance out in terms of like how you feel about the situation, because you don't want cons all the time because you're just going to be miserable. You also don't want pros all the time because you're not going to be effective or disciplined or motivated because you're just getting all your pros. What you want to do is balance your pros and your cons so you can remain disciplined but also enjoy the the parts of life that you deserve to enjoy. The tip that I have for you guys is my most favorite one. This is my most iconic tip that I tell all my friends anytime they come to me about complaining about something. Okay, so the third thing we have to say is you have to leave space for you to be human. You have to leave space for life to take its chance, for life to go the way that it should, for things to pop up, for things to change, for you to be adaptable and flexible. You have to leave space. If you're going to sit here and plan your entire day from start to finish, one, you're not really living life, you're just going through a series of actions. Two, you're not going to enjoy life because there's no level of uncertainty, excitement, what's going to happen, none of that. Three, it's just boring because 9 times out of 10, all your days are just going to blur together by a collection of tasks and you're just going to lose your mind. What you need to start doing is planning a fraction of your days. Depending on what type of person you are, person type A, type B, whatever, you will find this to work in a different percentage. But to me, I really enjoy planning from 70 to 80% of my day, right? So let's say I have 10 hours of work that I want to get done tomorrow. I will plan for maybe 7 of those hours. I'll be like, okay, 2 hours I want to do this, 2 hours I want to do that, 2 hours I want to do this, and 1 hour I'll do that. But the rest 3 hours that I have will be for whatever pops up. It could be that I'm working on my dissertation and I want to do an extra chapter because I'm really in the mood to finish it off. It could be that I get an email from a professor and they say, oh guys, remember to read this paper before next class. I can spend an hour on that. It could be literally anything else, but by me not planning all 100%, I'm planning only 70%, I give 30% leeway for whatever I feel like studying, whatever I feel like investing my time and energy into. Because at the end of the day, you're not a robot. You're not just here to follow a bunch of tasks. You're here to enjoy the tasks that you do. You might read a paper and be like, you know what, this paper is so interesting, I want to do some deeper research into this topic. You can spend an hour doing that because you haven't planned against it. You've given yourself leeway to explore your time in different options in different ways. I think it's really important to understand that the goal isn't a perfect routine. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal isn't to be the most ideal form of self you could possibly be. Because although it's important to show up for yourself every day, it's unrealistic for you to think that you will always be perfect every day. And also, the imperfections are what makes life so perfect. Like that is what makes life so valuable, is the fact that you don't know if you will wear an outfit that's really cute and you will walk down the street and someone will be like, oh my gosh, your outfit's so cute. That you don't know if that will happen. I think it's so much more important to take your normal, everyday, boring parts of life and make them fun, as opposed to make every part of life desirable, because that's never going to happen. You just have to pick and choose what parts you enjoy the most and make them as fun as possible. I would love to hear in the comments what's one part of uni life that you guys are trying to romanticize right now, whether it be studying, the library, assignments, going out with friends, whatever it may be. I would love to read all your replies. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.